The crown shattered against the marble floor. The sound echoed through the grand hall of the Balanti Empire like a gunshot. Every noble dropped to their knees. Every noble except one. Marcus Cole remained standing in the shadows near the servant entrance, his simple human diplomatic uniform marking him as unimportant. Humans were not required to kneel. They were not important enough. Queen Seraphina stood at the center of the hall, her silver skin glowing under the crystal chandeliers. Her 4 violet eyes stared at the broken crown at her feet. 17 selection ceremonies. 17 years. And still, she had chosen no consort. Enough, she said. Her voice was calm, but something inside it had cracked. I'm tired of being offered power instead of partnership. Murmurs spread across the nobles like a wave of anger. Lord Varanthos rose gracefully from his kneeling position. His golden scales shimmered under the light. Your radiance, he said smoothly. Perhaps if you would clarify what qualities you seek. Seraphina slowly lifted her gaze. I seek someone who sees me. Silence. Her secondary eyes, the ones that sensed emotional truth, scanned the room. Not the throne. Not the empire. Me. Marcus felt something tighten in his chest. He had watched her for 4 years. He had seen the way her smile never reached her eyes. He had seen the loneliness she hid behind royal posture. And without thinking, he whispered under his breath. If only she could be mine. He did not mean to say it out loud. But Balanti hearing was sharper than human hearing. The queen's secondary eyes turned toward the shadows. And she smiled. It was not a royal smile. It was real. You, she said softly. The entire hall turned. Marcus froze. The human, she continued. Step forward. He did. Every step felt like walking into fire. He bowed respectfully. You spoke, she said. What did you say? Marcus could lie. He could retreat. He could disappear like he always had in his life. But he was tired of disappearing. I said, he answered quietly, if only she could be mine. Gasps filled the hall. Lord Varanthos looked furious. Seraphina's smile grew. Then ask me properly. Chaos exploded around them. This is absurd. Varanthos snapped. He is not noble. He is not even a citizen. Seraphina turned slowly. He looked at my face, she said calmly. You looked at my crown. Varanthos had no answer. The human stays, she declared. As my guest. That night, Marcus did not sleep. He stared out of his diplomatic quarters window at the shining towers of Balanti Prime. He had just challenged an empire. The next morning, Chancellor Velith summoned him. She was the queen's aunt. Older. Sharper. Dangerous. You have caused political instability, she said calmly. Why should I not have you removed from this planet? Marcus met her gaze. Because when she smiled at me, he said, you saw something you have not seen in years. Velith's eyes narrowed slightly. And what is that? Hope. Silence filled the room. Finally, she spoke. The selection ritual requires 3 trials. Wisdom. Courage. Devotion. Marcus nodded. You will likely fail. Probably, he agreed. Then why try? Because she asked me to. For the first time, Velith's expression shifted. The trial of wisdom is tomorrow. The trial of wisdom. 2 noble houses had been fighting for centuries over asteroid mining rights. Marcus was placed in the center of a circular chamber surrounded by watching nobles. You have 1 hour, the herald announced. Marcus listened carefully. Contracts. Broken alliances. Old claims. But beneath it all, he saw something else. You are not fighting over mining rights, Marcus said calmly. The nobles stiffened. You are fighting over an old insult. Silence. A broken marriage alliance, he continued. 300 years ago. Eyes widened. That wound was never acknowledged. So you keep fighting over rocks in space instead. The chamber went silent. He did not offer dominance. He offered truth. Create a joint mining alliance, he said. Shared ownership. Shared profit. Shared responsibility. And what of the insult? One noble asked quietly. Acknowledge it, Marcus replied. Not as weakness. As honesty. Long silence. Then slowly. Both houses agreed. The trial of wisdom was passed. And for the first time in 17 years. The court applauded. The garden meeting. That night, Seraphina summoned him privately. The royal gardens glowed under twin moons. Silver light shimmered across her skin. You surprised them, she said softly. I surprised myself, Marcus admitted. She studied him carefully. Why did you say those words? She asked. Because I saw someone lonely, he answered honestly. And I know what that feels like. She went quiet. My parents died when I was young, she said softly. Since then, I have only been queen. Then let me see Seraphina, he said gently. Not your radiance. Not majesty. Seraphina. Something changed in her eyes. The trial of courage is next, she said. It may kill you. Marcus swallowed. I'll try anyway. The trial of courage. The arena was ancient. A massive creature was released into the pit, a Vorith beast. 6 legs. Armored scales. Predator eyes. Noble candidates normally fought with weapons. Marcus entered with nothing. Gasps echoed in the stands. He slowly knelt. The creature growled. I'm not here to hurt you, Marcus said softly. He opened a pouch of protein meat and placed it on the ground. The Vorith sniffed. Stepped closer. The nobles watched in disbelief. Marcus stayed still. Patient. Calm. The beast lowered its massive head. It took the offering. Then. It's Saturday. The arena fell silent. Marcus gently touched its armored head. The creature released a low vibrating hum. Acceptance. The herald's voice shook. Trial of courage, passed. Seraphina stood in the royal box, her secondary eyes shining. No one had ever faced the arena without violence. No one had ever chosen kindness. Later that night, Seraphina came to his quarters. You could have died, she said. Yes. Why risk it? Because courage isn't always about fighting, he replied. Sometimes it's about not fighting. She stepped closer. The final trial is tomorrow, she whispered. Devotion. Marcus nodded. She reached out and touched his hand. I'm tired of being safe, she said quietly. He understood that completely. And for the first time in years. So was he. The throne room was silent. Not respectful silence. Dangerous silence. Hundreds of nobles filled the chamber. Golden scales. Silver robes. Political power dressed as tradition. At the center stood Marcus Cole. No armor. No army. No noble house behind him. Only himself. Queen Seraphina sat upon her restored throne. A new crown rested on her silver hair, lighter and simpler than the last one she had shattered. This, the herald announced, is the trial of devotion. Lord Varanthos stood to the left, confident once again. His house had recovered some influence. His expression said he believed this was over. Devotion is proven through sacrifice, the herald continued. Through offering something of value to the throne. Varanthos stepped forward first. He bowed deeply. My house pledges its fleet, he declared. 3 war battalions and exclusive mining rights in the Eastern Quadrant. I also offer political unity with 5 allied houses. Murmurs of approval filled the hall. Power. Security. Strength. Everything a ruler was supposed to want. Seraphina listened without emotion. Then it was Marcus's turn. He walked forward slowly. He carried nothing. No documents. No pledges. No treasures. The nobles began whispering immediately. He insults the throne. He has nothing to give. He is nothing. Marcus stopped at the center of the floor. He looked up at Seraphina. Not at the crown. Not at the throne. At her. Your radiance, he began calmly. I have no fleet. No army. No alliances. He paused. I have no empire. The whispers grew louder. But I have something else. Silence returned slowly. I offer my life. That made the room still. Not in shock. In confusion. I offer not power, Marcus continued, voice steady, but presence. I offer to stand beside you when the weight of this empire becomes too heavy. I offer to tell you the truth when others hide it. I offer to see you when others see only the crown. Seraphina's secondary eyes brightened. Marcus lowered to one knee. I offer devotion to Seraphina, he said quietly. Not to the throne. Not to the empire. To you. The nobles erupted. This is madness. He offers nothing of value. He offers feelings. Lord Varanthos stepped forward angrily. This human insults tradition. Marcus did not move. He kept his eyes on her. I do not know if that is enough, he finished. But it is real. The chamber waited. Seraphina rose slowly. She descended the steps of the throne. Her gown shimmered softly between silver and violet. She stood in front of Marcus. Close. Very close. Her voice, when she spoke, was soft. Marcus Cole, she said, do you understand what standing beside me means? Yes. It means enemies. Yes. It means assassination attempts. Yes. It means being hated. He gave a small smile. I've already started. A faint breath of laughter escaped her. The nobles gasped at her reaction. Then, everything changed. The assassination. The lights flickered. The far doors exploded inward. Armed figures rushed into the hall. Blades drawn. Energy weapons charged. The nobles screamed. Guards reacted too late. The attackers moved directly toward Marcus. Not toward the queen. Toward him. Because removing him solved everything. Marcus stood up instantly. He did not run. He stepped in front of Seraphina. One attacker lunged. Marcus grabbed a fallen ceremonial spear from the floor. He blocked the strike awkwardly but successfully. Another attacker raised an energy pistol. And stopped. Because something massive landed between them. The Vorath beast. The same creature from the arena. It roared, a deep shaking sound that rattled the marble floor. The nobles panicked. The attackers froze. The Vorath moved toward Marcus. Not attacking. Protecting. It positioned itself in front of him like a shield. The attackers realized the situation had changed. Royal guards finally surrounded them. Within moments, the assassins were captured. Silence returned to the hall. Marcus lowered the spear slowly. Seraphina stared at him. You shielded me, she whispered. He shook his head. They were aiming for me. She looked at the Vorath. You befriended a beast the Empire feared. Marcus shrugged lightly. I listened to it. The hall was watching. Waiting. Seraphina turned slowly to face her court. Who sent them? She demanded. Chancellor Velith stepped forward. Preliminary scan identifies house markings linked to Varanthos. Gasps. All eyes turned. Varanthos looked pale for the first time. This is false, he snapped. I would never. Seraphina raised her hand. Silence crushed the room. You feared losing to a human, she said quietly. So you attempted to remove him. I was protecting tradition. You were protecting your pride. Her voice was calm. Deadly calm. You claim he offers nothing of value, she continued. Yet he stands unarmed in my court. He faced a predator with kindness. He resolved a feud centuries old. And when danger entered this hall. She looked at Marcus. He did not step back. Her secondary eyes glowed brightly. He stepped forward. The nobles were silent now. Completely silent. Seraphina returned her gaze to Varanthos. You speak of devotion to the throne, she said. But devotion without respect is hunger. She turned to Marcus. You offered something none of them have. She stepped closer. You offered me the right to be seen. The Vorath slowly retreated toward the edge of the hall, calm and watchful. Seraphina faced her empire. I have made my choice. The air felt heavy. My consort will be Marcus Cole of Earth. Shock rippled like a physical force. A human. This cannot stand. She raised her voice. I am queen. It stands. The hall fell silent again. She extended her hand toward Marcus. He hesitated only a second. Then he took it. Her skin was cool. Steady. She looked at him softly. Ask me properly, she whispered. He swallowed. In front of the entire empire, Marcus knelt again. Not because he had to. Because he wanted to. Seraphina, he said clearly, not using any title, will you allow me to stand beside you? Not as ruler. Not as owner. But as partner. Her eyes filled with emotion. Yes, she answered simply. Then she pulled him up. And kissed him. The hall exploded. Some in anger. Some in shock. Some in disbelief. But none dared challenge her. Because she was no longer lonely. She was certain. Aftermath. The political consequences were immediate. Several noble houses protested. Some withdrew alliances. Whispers spread across the galaxy. A human consort. A scandal. A weakness. But something else also spread. Respect. Because Marcus did not hide. He attended councils. He listened more than he spoke. He asked simple questions others were afraid to ask. He stood beside Seraphina during disputes. Not above. Not behind. Beside. When tensions rose between Balanti and outer colonies, Marcus suggested negotiations no noble had considered. When military leaders pushed for force, he proposed cooperation. He did not think like them. And that became his strength. Humans were new to the galactic stage. Small. Young. But adaptable. Creative. Resilient. Seraphina began sleeping more. Laughing more. Smiling without forcing it. She no longer touched the empty space beside her throne. It was no longer empty. The garden, months later. Under the twin moons, they sat together again. The fountain sang softly. Do you regret it? She asked quietly. Choosing me. He smiled. Do you? She leaned her head against his shoulder. No. There was peace in her voice now. The Empire still watches us, she said. Let them. They expect you to fail. He nodded. They expected humans to fail when we first left Earth. She looked at him. And? We're still here. She laughed softly. You changed my empire, she said. He shook his head. No. You changed it. I just asked properly. She squeezed his hand. 17 cycles, she whispered. 17 years of ceremonies. And all it took was one human in the shadows. Who spoke too loudly, he added. She smiled. No, she corrected gently. Who finally spoke honestly. They sat in silence. Not awkward silence. Comfortable silence. Years from now, historians would write complex explanations. Political strategies. Economic adjustments. Cultural shifts. But the truth was simple. A queen wanted to be seen. A human was brave enough to see her. And humanity, once considered small and unimportant, proved something powerful that day. Strength is not always measured in fleets or weapons. Sometimes. It is measured in the courage to care. And in that moment, under alien moons, a human and a queen reshaped an empire. Not with force. But with choice.